Joining us here on India Today on 6 p.m. Prime is Gaurav Gogoi, Congress MP from the Northeast, symbolically has filed this motion. Gaurav, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to begin with the same question that I put forward to Rahul Srivastava, which is that with the numbers not on your side, have you decided to go ahead and submit this no trust motion with the single sole agenda of getting the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur?
It is not about numbers. What is more important is that a message of solidarity and hope goes out to the people of Manipur who feel as if they have been completely abandoned by the Prime Minister, who has chosen to remain silent for close to 80 days. If at the end of our no confidence motion, we might be defeated, but if the Prime Minister sends out a message of peace, if all political parties stand up with one voice and say that India stands with the Northeast and with the people of Manipur, that we announce a new process of dialogue amongst the various stakeholders, that even though our motion might be defeated, but for the cause of territorial integrity, for the cause of preserving humanity in Manipur and in the Northeast, I think we would have achieved a major success.
Let me put forth the BJP's argument here. They're saying, one, to your question of whether the Prime Minister has spoken, they say, look, the Prime Minister, before the monsoon session began, gave a statement of what's happening in Manipur. And besides that, the Home Minister is willing to speak. He stood up in Parliament, said, I'm willing to give a statement, we're willing to discuss this, but that the opposition has been constantly disrupting these sessions. Why is it that the Home Minister can't issue a statement on this?
The Union Home Minister went to Manipur and constituted a peace committee of 51 members, and this committee has totally failed. In fact, members of this committee have rejected the committee which has been constituted by the Union Home Minister. So his efforts have not borne fruit. More than 6,000 sophisticated weapons have been looted from police stations and are still in the hands of civilians. Therefore, it is incumbent upon the Prime Minister to make a statement. The Prime Minister chose to speak after 80 days. What was he doing before? And he only spoke because the Supreme Court Chief Justice made a scathing observation and a video went viral. Yet he addressed only one form of human rights violation. But there are close to 55,000 people living in relief camps. The different communities are no longer living eye to eye. There's a complete lack of faith in the state machinery, in the law and order machinery. People are asking for the Chief Minister to resign. And it is inexplicable that a government that replaces Chief Minister 3 times, 4 times, just to benefit themselves in the election, has continued to support a Chief Minister under whose reign so many atrocities against women, tribals, young people, so many homes, under whose reign so many churches have been destroyed. And yet the Prime Minister continues, for some reason best known to himself, to support this Chief Minister.
Let's talk about the disruptions that have been happening for the last few days in Parliament. It's clear that your parties and every party part of the India alliance wants one issue to be discussed, Manipur. But is that really counterproductive right now? Because the BJP has said, look, the Prime Minister is not going to speak. And as a result of that, they're going about business as usual. They're passing their bills because they have the numbers in Lok Sabha. And so is the opposition's protest right now going unheard?
What message is the BJP trying to send the people of Manipur? That there are issues which are far more important. There are bills which are far more important than what has happened to the women. There are issues which are far more important to the complete breakdown in the relationship between the Kukis and Meiteis and Naga. What is more important than talking about this conflict which is spreading to other parts of the Northeast, Assam, Mizoram? These are states on our border. This is becoming an issue of national security and territorial integrity. And yet the BJP feel that they have other issues of more importance. The Prime Minister, instead of talking about Manipur, is talking about Chhattisgarh and East India Company. I mean, in the past, I have never seen a Prime Minister who's been so indifferent. All political parties, when they were Prime Ministers who faced a conflict, used to address the issue heads on. But in this particular case, I found a Prime Minister who takes credit for successes, But when there's a failure, he outsources them to his cabinet. He has the time to campaign in a Delhi MCD election, but does not have the time to visit Manipur and console the victims of violence. As someone from the Northeast, I am shocked, isolated. I feel a sense of disconnect, and this is in the Northeast.
Based on what you're saying, are you making a case here? Legislations, all discussions to be put on hold, and the focus to right now in this session?
Absolutely. Right now, it's a time to send a message of to try make an effort to heal the wounds. Fractions which have erupted in the communities will take decades to heal, and they still have access to sophisticated weapons. These are states on our border, and they are prone to external influences. Do we want the situation to worsen? Surprisingly, a party that champions itself on nationalism and domestic security is failing to preserve the integrity of the Northeast, is failing on law and order, is failing on domestic security, is failing the tribals, is failing the women. There is still time. There's still time for the Prime Minister to make a statement, and we hope that through this vote of no confidence, he will have the courage to stand inside Parliament and speak to the people of the nation.
The BJP, Gaurav Gogoi, is saying that at this point, they're very clear that the Home Minister is open to a discussion. The Prime Minister won't speak on this issue because he's already given a statement. At this juncture, with what's happening and the opposition, your party saying that we want the Prime Minister to speak, these endless disruptions, are we looking essentially at another washout session, at no discussion on any of the bills?
The question is, why is the Prime Minister giving more importance to his image than the dignity of the women and the tribals of Manipur? Why is the Prime Minister finding the time to inaugurate a trade and exhibition center in Delhi but not come inside Parliament? What kind of democracy are we living in? And if today this is happening in Manipur, then tomorrow it can happen in any other part of the state. Do we want to preserve the integrity of India? Do we want to alienate further the people of Manipur? Have they not suffered enough? Have they not felt enough pain? Can we not do something more?
Sure.
This is what the India Alliance is trying to do. That is why Rahul Gandhi ji visited Manipur. That is what we are trying to do.
No,
that the Prime Minister may have forgotten Manipur, but India Alliance stands with Manipur. We want justice for Manipur, and we will continue to raise the voice of Manipur inside Parliament.
My final question to you, Gaurav Gogoi, you mentioned Rahul Gandhi's visit to Manipur. You spoke of the India Alliance coming together. The constant criticism that comes your party and the alliance's way from the BJP is, why is there pin drop silence of what's happening in a Rajasthan, in a Chhattisgarh? Why are parties not speaking out over it? Why aren't you critical of, women's safety, of law and order breakdown in these states when you speak constantly of Manipur?
What is happening in Manipur in terms of the scale of violence, the scale of human atrocity, the kind of Rwanda-like situation, the kind of internal civil war is happening nowhere else in India. And even people of India, your viewers understand that the BJP is trying to divert the attention and obfuscate the issue, trying to treat it as a law and order issue, try to treat it as an issue for the Minister of Home Affairs or for the Minister of Women and Child. For God's sake, let us give attention to Manipur. This is a very sensitive and complex part of our country. This is a potential to escalate and spread. Who are we trying to benefit? Is the BJP trying to benefit India's enemies by ignoring the Northeast? Do they not know the history of insurgency and how they were supported by external forces? What kind of government is this? And that is why we have moved the vote of no confidence motion. The government has failed to resolve the issue in Manipur, and it is their government in the state. They are taking no action. The Prime Minister continues to support a Chief Minister who's played a key role in ensuring that this conflict does not die down.
Okay. You from the northeast, from Assam, Gaurav Gogoi, have decided to go ahead with this no trust motion because you want to put the focus on a discussion and a statement from the Prime Minister. The Speaker has accepted your motion, so we'll track closely what happens in Parliament. But thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here.